Welcome to Talking Dairy. I'm your host, Jack McGowan from DairyNZ. This episode is part of a special series recorded at the 2025 Precision Dairy Farming Conference in Otago, Christchurch. And I'm joined by two farmers who are on the ground living and breathing technology adoption every day. Sharn Roskam, who farms in Southland, and Stu Taylor from Canterbury, are here to talk about the reality of making innovation work on a working dairy farm. All right, let's start with something easy. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Sharn, you can go first.
Grew up in the South Waikato,
Oh.
not on a dairy farm. I graduated from Massey University, then worked for DairyNZ. It was actually
you?
Dexel at the time.
Oh, I've been there since it was Dexel too.
Yes, Dexel, then DairyNZ, and met Billy at a Young Farmers. Yeah, within 7 months we were share milking down in Southland. We've been there, I think we're in our 17th season down there now. Yeah.
Have you moved around a bit?
Within about 20 k's of Winton. I think we're on our fourth property down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we've been there since 2016, I think.
Right. And Stu?
I grew up on a farm, Hickoringy Swamp, just north of Whangarei, so my parents share milked. They put 400 cows through a 10-a-side shed, so they're doing 40 rows in the late 70s, early 80s. They sold 200 cows for $150 each. And
Those were the days.
That was the deposit on their first farm. 100 hectares they bought for $60,000 just southwest of Whangarei. That's the farm that I grew up on. Went to Massey University, and after Massey went and worked in the Waikato for JD Wallace. I started as a dairy assistant and was manager after about 6 months. After 2 years there or thereabouts, I actually went and farmed in Ecuador. I went with a live shipment of cows to Ecuador and then set up a little farm outside of Quito at 3,500 metres above sea level.
Oh my goodness.
The hill behind the farm was 6,500. So I had cows dying of altitude sickness when they calved.
Oh.
Built a little 8-a-side straight rail herringbone for $5,000 American dollars. So that was my adventure piece, and then came back to New Zealand and worked for JD Wallace again, and then worked up to assistant general manager, and then spent 8 years on the Wanganui coast doing conversions on the sand country down there. That was exciting. So had a team of bulldozers and diggers. We're flattening out sand and then putting irrigation bores down to half a K. So we're bringing water up from 500 metres below sea level. It was amazing though, they artesianed at 80 litres a second. That's kind of the innovation piece started. So I looked at farm systems, and on that sand and on that climate, everything was slightly different. So we ran fescue, brome, red, white clover, plantain mix. And it wasn't just those innovations, it was total farm systems, so how we employ people and et cetera. So that kind of led me to Craigmore, because Craigmore was internationally owned business and set up to empower New Zealand farmers with capital from overseas to accentuate or speed up change in New Zealand farming. So just the experience that I had up to date and that systems thinking aligned culturally with the company, as well as it gave me a platform to really accentuate change in the New Zealand dairy industry and play in the innovation space.
Yeah, so what's your role at Craigmore?
I'm a GM of farming. I run the dairy business. So about 20 dairy farms, just on 18,000 cows. And then I've got my own personal farm down on the Ashburton coast, Wakanui. It's an 800 cow farm there that I own with a business partner.
Cool. Thank you, Stu. All right, back to you, Sharn. What technology have you adopted on your farm, and why did you do that?
As I said earlier, we've got the ProTrack type technology. We also have with that, we've got our body condition scoring camera.
Right.
And then we have simple things like our milk sample. We can put in a little machine and it tells us what bugs it's growing for mastitis management, through to we've got Halter being our big ticket technology. We also have installed the iHurt for lameness.
Yeah.
And then there's a range of apps. We've got things like TrackMap and I don't know what the John Deere system is, but there's a John Deere system for the tractor just drives exactly where it's supposed to drive when it's spreading the fertiliser and just accuracy around those sorts of things. Yeah. So.
And what drew you towards technology?
I don't want to be out on the farm for any longer than I need to be. And that's not through laziness, it's just through being busy.
Yeah.
And if I can make the job out there more efficient to allow a work-life balance, that's pretty critical for me. hard to let go of farming, but I'm also a mum. I'm a farmer. I'm not married to a farmer. We were both farmers before we met.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to enable me to have my career, have my family, and be involved. Yeah, that's a real struggle for a woman on farm, is to have a place after kids. So technology has really allowed me to have a place in the business and still know what's going on because I'm a bit of a control freak.
Nice. And I feel where you're coming from. My role on the farm changed a lot after having children and also returning to DairyNZ. Yeah. So Stu, what technologies have you adopted? Well, you mentioned that it's Craigmore that's adopted the technology. So what technologies have they generally got on and what drew them to that?
Yeah, so GM of Craigmore, and we've got a suite of innovations across the Craigmore farms. As I said, Craigmore was set up to bring capital to young, innovative New Zealand farmers. So when the investors come out from overseas, they like to see the new innovation or sustainability push across our farms. And remember, my business is selling milk and also selling a fund. So part of that sales strategy for selling the fund is introducing innovations or technologies across the farms. So my rule is that you have to be operating your farm to a competent level. So you have to have high-performing teams, cows, profitable, tidy farm. And then I try and tease out of the person, the leader on the farm, what their passion is, and then try and overlay a technology across that. Sometimes they bring that technology to me and say, hey, I really want to do this. Sometimes I just go, oh, you really love calfering, so let's do something around calfering, yeah. So we're talking about electronic technologies or
whatever
biological technologies. So
interesting. Yeah,
so
all of it.
Up in North Canterbury, Colvin, we've got a nutrient stripping wetland and also a wood chip bioreactor.
Yeah.
We've got SmackTech in one of the herds. We've got Herd Eye. They were Omni Eye, now the Herd Eye. Lame cow drafting and the body congestion score camera. We've also got dung beetles released on farms up there.
That's old technology, but new for New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, in the 60s it was released. It was on my father's farm. Up in Northland. That was the Mexican dung beetle. So out at Oxford, we've been running Cow Butcher for the last 3 years.
Sorry, what?
Cow Butcher. So that's the biostimulant for calves to improve their efficiency.
Oh, a play on kombucha, not cow butcher.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, the abattoir.
Spelt with a C.
Yeah.
So that's been introduced into the calves over the last 3 seasons. So seeing, improved growth rates and better health. On the farm, we've had halter for 4 years, actually gone from a 500 cow farm to 800 cow farm, and now it's on a 1,200 cow farm.
So it sounds like quite a broad range of tech on those farms. Now I'm going to ask you about your own farm.
On my own farm, I've just introduced ProTrack, and I've got a rotary cow shed.
Yeah.
That's the technology. So on my own farm, it's about having a real simple executable system. We've only just purchased it in the last 4 years, so there's reasonably high levels of debt. So it's a very, very low risk strategy there that we're running a really efficient, simple system and paying down debt as fast as possible.
Yeah, I really like that kind of the difference in those two strategies for really good reason in terms of what's driving them to technology or not to technology yet.
Yeah, it has to be a conscious decision around. You don't just use technology because your neighbour's using technology. You have a conscious decision around how you want to farm and the risk profile that you've got on your farm.
Sharn, were there any unexpected challenges or surprises as you kind of went on this technology adoption journey?
Probably not. And that's maybe because we've constantly been doing something in that space.
Yeah.
There's always been, oh, that looks good, let's try it. And so there's that open-mindedness to it. Some technologies have been really difficult or have actually flopped. And so there are technologies we've put in place which are essentially worth zero and burnt a hole in the pocket. But other technologies have superseded them. And I'll give the example where we had the heat patches and it was on colour based. Yeah. And if it was dirty or there were trees, those were the things we were like, wow, okay, And so on a daily basis, we were changing our what we were doing in the paddock to try and make the technology work for us. And it was actually quite hard work. So you would wake up half an hour earlier so that you could...
So not really achieving the saving time
thing, because you'd actually have to clean because if they were dirty, they were on, but they weren't on. So those are probably some of the ones that you just had to adapt really quickly. It was still great because it did get the heat cows, but you might have only had 25 on out of the 40 that were there. So, technology probably has surprised us more in how, for example, our first big wearable technology was Cow Manager, and we put that on thinking we needed to change, to help us with our fertility. But it was actually the health.
Right.
It was the health that blew us away.
So what you got from Cow Manager that was helpful for health.
Yeah, for health. Yeah. So we didn't put it in for that reason, but we were pleasantly surprised by the health alerts on it. So it's probably been more of a positive, well, I wasn't expecting that than not really too many negatives at all, to be fair.
Cool. Yeah, so it sounds like as one of the early adopters of technologies, you are going to learn with the technology provider as well.
Yeah.
But also you get some of the early surprise benefits too.
Yeah.
Stu, have you come across any unexpected challenges or surprises?
If you're working with the innovator, they've passed their farmlet trial stage and they're starting to introduce it into commercial scale, you're going to get surprises.
Yeah.
So if you're at that stage, you're working with them really closely to understand what works and what doesn't work. And you're expecting failures, or that's actually learnings.
Yes.
Yeah, from that new technology as you introduce it. And there's the innovation itself, and then there's the farmer innovating around that innovation, micro innovations I call them, so working out how to use that technology successfully at a commercial scale. So I think you should expect all those unexpected things.
It's part of the journey.
In saying that, if you're a fast follower or a laggard, you should be expecting that. And laggard's not a bad thing. That's a strategic choice.
It's more cautious.
Yeah, and it's going in and saying, I want this technology to be cost effective and I want it to work every time because I don't want any failures, I don't want any complexity.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Thank you, Stu. What advice would you give to farmers who are sitting on the fence about adopting new tech?
I'd be looking at my business and understanding, can I handle a risk? Can I have a financial failure? And if I can't, then don't touch it. Also, I'd be asking myself, why am I a farmer? And if I like simplicity and I just love spending time with cows, why bring in that complexity? Or if I just want simplicity because my focus right now is my family and I want to be able to leave the farm and spend time with my family, then don't bring in that complexity. If you want something a little bit different, if you've perfected your system and you want your new challenge and your passion is, say, cow health, then bring in a technology that can augment or assist you around maximising cow health or cow performance.
And Sharn, anything to add?
My key thing that I don't know if it's podcast, shit in, shit out. if you don't have control of your data, if you're trying to cover up for a poor manager or whether it's a contract milk or if you're trying to cover up for failures in day-to-day processes, don't do it because it is not a sticking plaster. It will make an infection.
It's a multiplier, isn't it?
It is. You really need to be all over your records. You need to be able to look and check and make sure things are accurate, because if it's not accurate, putting in a wearable or a fancy technology or anything will not help at all.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a genuine interest in having nice, clean data and wanting to look at what you're doing and not just ignoring things.
Yeah.
That would be my biggest thing, is it's shit in, shit it out. So if you're not prepared to utilise the information, then don't do it. It won't fix problems.
Yeah.
So all the innovations are tools to use and they are a multiplier. So if you're a really top-notch farmer, it will make you better. If you're an average farmer, you're going to be average still. You're going to be slightly improved maybe not. But if you're a really poor farmer, you're going to be extremely poor farmer after introducing that technology. So it's a multiplier. And it doesn't really replace people.
No.
It just changes how people interact with the technology.
Yeah.
It's a misconception that technology will solve your people problems or replace people.
It might encourage people to stay longer it might encourage those that really love it and you've got good stuff. It may encourage them to be with you more or look for longer, or it may encourage a better employee or applicants, I should say, more applicants. But it's not a sticking plaster by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, thank you both. So looking ahead, if there is anything, what's the next innovation that you're keeping your eyes on?
So I'm looking for technologies that improve efficiency of my farm system. So less wastage or less pollution for a similar or better output. So some really interesting technologies out there. Some of the biostimulants coming out of North America, where they'll reduce methane from cows while maintaining similar production levels. They're really interesting, up to 30% reduction. Some of the technologies, and they're starting to get a little bit out there. Amura's an interesting technology that mitigates N loss by spreading out urine from a cow. So that's extremely interesting, because that could transform the dairy industry if that's successful. So you could see the expansion of the dairy industry again if you're getting up to 80% reduction in leaching from a technology like that's. Pretty early stages, and it's still very much in the development stage, but that's a really interesting technology coming through. And then some of those genetic technologies. So there's one coming out of Australia where you can flush your best cows and then genomically select the embryos in the petri dish, and then you can split that embryo into twins, identical twins. So that's some pretty amazing technology around genetics. So you could have, say, your 200 replacement calves all exactly the same coming out every year. So some of those technologies coming are just dramatic, and that's without even including the genetic engineering pieces, which is still in play. So that'll be an interesting decision for New Zealand.
Okay, so some pretty out there stuff that Stu's got his eye on. Sharn?
I clearly need to do a whole lot more reading.
Just have a chat to Stu.
I reckon. Holy moly. Here's me thinking, I can't wait to get my iHerd plugged in. Yeah.
Are you looking at bringing in any new tech to your farm, or you feel like you've got enough for now?
Not right now. No. But I definitely don't turn anything away from having a look at and analysing and see if it'll suit us. So if someone pulls up my drive or something, I won't turn them away. I'll be like, okay, let me have a look. Have a think about it.
Show me what it can do.
Show me what it can do.
Cool.
How will it help me?
Well, thank you both, Sharn and Stu, for sharing your experiences. The takeaway for me is that successful tech adoption isn't about jumping on every new innovation, but about identifying what you're wanting to achieve in your farm and whether it's a good fit for the way you want to farm, and finding the right tool to solve it. These two farmers have shown with the right approach, technology can deliver genuine value for them, but it takes time, patience, and a bit of bravery and willingness to learn as you go. Thanks for listening. Mā te wā. If you'd like to get connected with DairyNZ's latest advice, research, tools and resources, whether it's reading, scrolling, listening or in person, you can visit dairynz.co.nz/get-connected, and don't forget to hit follow to keep up to date with our latest episodes. As always, if you have any feedback on this podcast or have some ideas for future topics or guests, please email us at talkingdairy@dairynz.co.nz. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Talking Dairy.